if it's possible, over the next very short.
Anything's possible. Don't say if. You know anything's possible.
It was possible for you to make $1 million in December and give it to me. It didn't happen. So if it had been, I would have got it. It didn't. So if it was still a question.
I know, but you, again, go ahead. I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm trying to tell you what I'm going to do with Bird in Hand for the moment.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
And I said, when I'm done telling you what I'm going to do with Bird in Hand, then we'll go ahead and talk about what your alternative view might be. And I'm going to show you how we're going to plot that out as you're going to tell me. I'm going to go ahead and draw it out.
Thank you.
And during the meantime, while I'm talking like the professor at the front of the room and you're in the students and you're out there and I don't want to hear a bunch of shit, I'm going to go ahead and try to do a little short little lecture. And I'd like to go ahead and have the students listen and then I'll take questions at the end of it. How's that sound?
Done.
Commentary, not necessarily talking at the end, then the monkeys can go ahead and start singing. Till then, I want to get my thought out.
Go.
I've actually drawn all this. This is what I tried to send to you for us to look at. I said I want to share this with us on a conversation. I had the warehouses. I have this building over here. It was supposed to be for our schooling. Right now, this is in the process of being nixed because I cannot keep this alive. I need $500 to bail it out. I need another $200,000 to make anything we're going to have happen. So since that has not been able to happen, my plan B is this is going to disappear, and when this disappears, this is what it's got to make afterwards, and that's that I've got to go ahead and compensate. So here's my options. I sent all these options to you. And these options are, I have this to sell, this to sell, this to sell, materials. And so I also have raw lumber, I have tile to the tune of millions of dollars. We could do all these things. This was sent a while back. What could happen is, basically, all the things come out of this are income sources, certification process, how much of it's salvage. So you create a nonprofit element to support the skills. You have salvage hunters finding resources, and you link them up with salvage miners and the ways selling the materials by using our phones to go ahead and do our inspections, figure out if it's worth it. We go out there, we do a seminar, we take the house down in 4 or 5 slices, we pack it up, and we haul it away on a semi and put it up in a day because we take it away different. We do it differently. We create this process by creating the teams. The outposts become the makers' workshops where we have the seminars, we mine, we do all this stuff. The web presence is essential, but it's got to be a new web presence because all of our web presences right now are all banned and shadow banned and stuff like that. We have to come out in a new form to make this happen because you can only tie to those, but you can't be those if you want to get a volume of people watching at the moment. Now, B&B with houses we create by the people. That means we're going to have followers because people are going to come and stay in the houses that their sons and everybody created. So this becomes one of our revenue vehicles off of every place we establish an outpost, and we can sell them to investors, and that pays for everything. Pure Salvage outposts are territorial. So you have a territory, you buy that territory, and any order that comes in that territory, we send it to you, and you deliver it, you build it with your teams. And we certify your teams have no pedophiles, they have no druggies, they have no rapists, they have nobody coming on your property to build those houses that you have to worry about the good Christian men or whatever you need that you feel is comfortable for you. And therefore, these certification processes allow us to get into villages and communities and stuff and start our operations in safety. No, we're not bringing in freshly vaccinated baloney and exosomes and all the problems that we're going to have. We don't have some closed society options for the children that are still fertile to raise their babies without having them injected and killed. The solution is what we're focusing on, not just the problem. The problem is out there being talked about by everybody. Very few people talk about the solutions. If you keep yelling and screaming about the problem and not the solutions, then you can't make progress. So this is about, again, this process of creating it. Now, if you look at this, why am I teaching you about this bubble map? Because I want you to do the same thing and show me how what you're doing is going to be able to make some of these happen. As I keep going along, charter schools. Why? Because I got charter school money coming out of Texas in a big way starting up this next year, including even the homeschoolers for $2,000 a month per child, per home that homeschools. And if we have a small community, all of a sudden that turns into money for the community. It's now being granted out by the state in this new form they're doing it in right now, or at least charter schools with the right to go ahead and get that money. Inventory sales. The idea was to put the inventory sales into a nonprofit, but unfortunately when I asked for the attorney, do you have any evidence or anything on the paperwork on the nonprofit? No, I've never seen it, I don't know anything about it. When I get a nonprofit that I know exists, then I'll go ahead and try to put some of the inventory in the nonprofits and move it through that instead of moving it through me. That's one of the ways we want to move this, and that was a problem because I haven't found a nonprofit. And the other guy that was doing a nonprofit, I said, if you only got 10 hours a week, then you're not sincere. Bye. And so, unfortunately, I had to jettison one of those guys for the moment. It's sad, but you got, and you know this, you got 160 hours a week to work in, you need 40 to sleep in, maybe 50, and the rest of that is work time. if you believe in what you're doing, if you're sincere, that's your work time. I agree with that. But the thing is, it has to be focused. It has to be concentrated to be able to manifest by focusing your thoughts long enough. Manifest that hallucination into reality as God sent the vision through you to manifest. But to make that, you have to be able to learn to focus and concentrate. Now, again, have you been dissolved? You dissolved the cloud since I showed you how to do that. You've taken the time to concentrate to show how to dissolve a cloud in a few short breaths by going ahead and linking up with God and becoming part of the nature and then breathing in the cloud and making it disappear. Have you ever practiced that again?
Yes.
How are you doing at it?
Very well.
Good. Tomorrow we'll show, right? You saw show and tell. It's so easy. Again, this is all part of it. Now, you have to calm down to do that. You can't yell at the cloud, can you? Did you ever get a cloud to disappear by yelling at it yet?
I have tried to yell at it.
Think about this. Exactly. It doesn't work. One molecule of positively charged water can move 1 million molecules of negatively charged water around it and change actually the flow of a faucet. With 1 molecule of water, you're 90% water. If I breathe that water out, that change that cloud.
98%.
Actually, your bones actually make up a little more than that. You think it is.
We don't want to argue about that. Keep going.
I got a scale in there. You want to check it out? It actually does check it out. And at 19 to 20 BMI, I'm actually pretty particular about these things. Specialty hardware, museum attractions. So what I'm about to do is to go ahead and take all my hardware and do 3D imaging on it, and I'll have the largest collection of reproducible hardware on 3D printers anywhere in the world, and we'll start selling the whole book of you can have the beautiful stuff of the old, but we have a new production of it that's beautiful and usable in these tiny houses. And now instead of paying $400 for a set of hardware, you can now have it for $50, $40, print it yourself, and now I have a business for you at your place because you'll start printing these and distributing locally. I've got a kid who's a friend of mine. He's 70 years old. He's got a 13-year-old kid, Chinese wife, and they got a 3D printer, runs 20 hours a day. He delivered $600 worth of product for his son who's still in middle school, running his business, selling 3D printed stuff. He's selling to school to his teachers and stuff, and he's not even 16 years old. His dad's 70, he's going back to be certified, he works on oil rigs, running oil rigs and stuff like that. He's been a motocross racer, incredible guy, actually, very fit. He's a little older than me, about a year and a half older than me. But my point is, if I can get him over here with his Chinese wife, who has an excellent mind, his son who's a genius, he's taught his son to be a genius from childhood, and then get them over here to do the 3D operation, but other people can help, because once we get this template set in, I have one of the largest collections in the world to take this collection out of. 20,000 pieces of museum quality hardware. Once it's done, that book by itself is one of the books I'll be selling, because every time we sell a book, or every time somebody buys a template, so they can download the images. I have all the old catalogs, we have the images. So this is part of what we do to go ahead and show how do you build out the past and respect it. These people paid tons of life hours to create these things. And we can go ahead and respect that and use the old stuff and grow with that. Non-toxic, but also create beautiful things. So Specialty Hardware Museum, I'm going to put on the side of the highway here, is going to attract people to come here again. I also want to put a door. If I sell this, which is what I'm going to have to do, again, this is a scenario I'm working with. I can take the buildings I have right here, and I have 375 foot of steel buildings, 2 stories high. I can put on the perimeter this 1 5/8 right here, and turn those into shops with upstairs, possibly living quarters and otherwise, or even use it all as storage and warehouse and move my whole store down and sell off, because I just sold off this other portion of it. I'll make more selling that one piece off than I paid for everything to begin with. Okay? And so, yeah, that is the piece right there. This piece right here is going to net me right now $750,000, and that's cash out. And then 6 months of free rent afterwards, no charge for me to move out. Okay. I have to be out in 6 months. In 6 months after that. Now, to do that, I have to sell off about $1 million to $2 million worth of inventory. It doesn't break my heart.
So he gets the inventory.
No,
also.
I get 6 months to empty the place out. Okay. Listen carefully, please. Two months to closing, more or less, but 2 months. Now, I have 6 months to move out. After that, rent-free. That means I don't hit $7,000, $10,000 a month, because that's the cost of the space I'm in. The guy that wants to buy it and sell it, and he's got $18,000 a month scheduled to come in on it. This guy's going to use it. He's an end user. It's an Indian couple. He's out of Atlanta. They import stone. It's not going to be toxic to my property. It's just stacking it up and shipping it out. It's a distribution point. He needs all the space I got to do it.
Okay.
He wants me out. I have no repairs. I have no requirements for environmentals. I have to dig him a loading dock so he can back his truck in there. I don't have to do any any inspections. I don't have to deal with anything. So that means as good as it gets almost, other than I have to pay the title policy. So with that, now I have,
Can I interrupt you for
okay,
2
go
seconds?
ahead.
Do we know what the title policy is? Do we know if that's $500,000 that you owe them? Is it?
I told you I can't find that out until I submit the contract. Had I submitted a contract 3 weeks ago that I could tear up afterwards, it was totally worthless with a hole through the back that I could drive a truck through. And had my friend trusted me and signed that, I'd have you an answer already. But I had to have a contract, and this is the only valid contract. I tried to have him sign one even, and then my printer wouldn't send it to me. Every fucking thing in the world went wrong. And so guess what? That didn't happen last Friday. I might have an answer today or tomorrow. But no. And I could pay $3,000. And you know what they do? They find out, what was my original loan? Does it tell you what you have? No. Here's your title search. Thank you very much, Mr. Attorney, who wanted me to go pay for a title search for a couple $1,000s to get nothing. I talked to the title company. I know her, but she's a friend of mine. So I said, if I bring you a contract signed by Joe Blow, can you ask for it? She said, yes. The contract can be full of holes. They can't even divulge it. They can't tell the bank nothing. And as soon as it's done, you drive out. I got the answer. Thank you very much. Now I have to get the money because they're going to start coming after my ass because I asked for it and they want it now. They're going to put every lawyer they can on me, everything they can on me to make this stop because they want this land, not the money. That's why they won't tell me what they owe. So that said, that's why I'm in the predicament I am, down to the wire with lawsuits sitting there. I've already been given notices. I'm supposed to be giving depositions. If I don't, then I'm in violation. I'm in default. If I go into default, I lose by default. I lost $650,000 by default once. I don't want to do it again, defending myself. Listening to other people who tell me how I can defend myself. I know better now. I've spent $700,000 to learn how.